Cassy Athena is one of the most popular photographers in the NBA. She is your favorite NBA player's favorite photographer. Cassy is an American of Serbian and Greek descent who grew up and still lives in LA. Her portfolio is insane, with endless photos of the most known celebrities and athletes on the planet. In this episode, we talked about her Balkan roots and a hack for getting a photo with Jokic and Doncic.
And I was like, no, he's going to stop and talk to me. And they're like, he's not, so they were all like, we had this bet going if he was going to stop and talk to me. And so we were in the back, and then he starts walking. He's got his phone. He's got a hoodie on. Like, he's trying to like not be noticed. And he's like speed walking. And I was like, Luka. And he like isn't looking. And I was like, Dali mogu da se slikam s tobom. And he was like, and he like, check it. And he just like calls it. And he came over and he started talking to me. And I think he knew who I was too from like social media. And we were talking, and I was like, I asked to take a picture of him. And then he was like, let's get one together. So we took a picture together.
We also talked about her video with Nick Young and how this led to her owning one of the world's most recognized memes.
Did you know what the Nick Young
meme
is?
No, I must have missed that. What's the Nick Young meme?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, was it the one where he's like confused in the,
yes,
in the hotel room?
Mark.
That's you?
Yes. See what I mean?
You need to advertise that better. What are you talking about? You made that meme?
Yes. So that was from my first day in the life I filmed. I filmed of Nick Young.
We discussed many other topics, including her best photos, working with big names, learning Serbian, Balkan memes, and so much more. Timestamps down below. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to the podcast. Cassy, I think we've been following each other for a while now. Thank you for enjoying all of my random Balkan memes and whatnot. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
What is your Balkan background? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm born and raised in LA, but my mom is from Serbia. My dad he's like Greek and Irish and some other things, but mainly just American. So I grew up half and half, and then my mom's parents lived here in LA too. So when my mom and dad would go to work, they'd drop me off at my grandparents' house, and my grandparents didn't know any English. So that's how I learned a lot of Serbian culture, Serbian language, all that stuff. So I feel like I kind of grew up in a Serbian household, even though it was more like a mixed one, but yeah.
Right. How do you reflect on it now when you see like a lot of these like memes and videos coming out from the Balkans?
I love it. I think it's funny because it just reminds me of being at my grandparents' house. My mom was a lot like that too, but she moved to America when she was younger. But my grandparents were like very stereotypical, everything that I see in the videos. So
right.
Every time I find those videos, I'm sharing them with my mom, and we just laugh about it. So it's good.
So your grandparents moved to the States but didn't speak English.
Yeah,
but you were born this, and your mom came over when?
She was probably around 7 years old. So her siblings and her parents all came together. They had a crazy story. They moved to a lot of different countries, and then they finally settled in LA. And then and so like the siblings all learned English, but the grandparents were a little stubborn, and maybe they understood more than they let on, but yeah, they didn't really speak. So so the kids had to work and stuff. Yeah, I don't know if it was like a plot that they did. Like, yeah, we don't know English, so we can't do much around here. But yeah.
I'm interested in that story then, that she came in the 70s to LA, because I just made a video that this American travel channel went to Yugoslavia in the late 80s, mid 80s, and there was a guy in that video specifically that said he moved away from the States around that time. Do you know why she moved, or why you moved to specifically the States and then LA?
I guess like not getting like too crazy deep in it. It was like a lot of politics stuff. My grandpa was in the military, and it was just like disagreement about certain views, and It got to the point where they kind of had to leave, and they ended up going, I believe, to Belgium. They went to a couple other countries. They had to get asylum. Then they won the visa lottery to come to New York, and then they were very poor, lived in New York a long time, then Pennsylvania, then moved their way to LA. So my grandpa was a carpenter, which I know is another Balkan stereotype, but he was really good. And so because of that, he was able to like really get a lot of work, and that's how they ended up moving to LA, was for him to continue working and doing that stuff. So
it's interesting that you grew up in LA, but you had a bit of a Balkan upbringing with the grandparents. How was it like living in LA, growing up in LA? Because 70s and like the 90s were like the peak LA, kind of like booming, and I don't know, it was such a positive view of that region in general.
I mean, to me, I like LA. You know, maybe I'm just biased because I'm from here, but I always had a good experience. I think the hard part about LA, it doesn't have like a community. I would say maybe like my mom talks about growing up in Pennsylvania and how they're friends with their neighbors and they'd hang out and do all this stuff. LA is a little more like closed off. People don't really
Right.
talk to their neighbors and stuff. But I always had my family. I had not just my grandparents, but all my cousins and all that stuff. And so we'd have big Serbian gatherings. We'd hang out. My dad's family too. I have a huge family on my dad's side.
Mm-hmm.
His is a little more, American. There's some Greek and Irish influence, but more American. So I just always really hung around family.
Right.
LA is nice. I mean, it's gotten a little crazy in recent years, but growing up, I never really had any complaints about living here.
Is there a big Serbian community there, or no?
So
Is
they say there is, but I mean, I haven't. I've gone to the churches out here, and I know a few people. I think there's two kinds of Serbians in LA, and maybe just other Balkans too. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
ones that are very fresh from Serbia, that have like rich culture, speak it, everything. And then there's the ones that are like second, third generation that don't know the
Right.
language, and so it's like a mixture. And I think they're two very different kinds of people. So I tend to get along more with the ones from Serbia, the ones that speak it, a little more culture. So I do
Right.
have some Serbian friends out here, but it is tough to meet them. I heard Chicago is like the main place to go if you want to
Yeah.
find Serbians.
So I lived in Windsor in Canada, and Chicago is not more than like 3 4 hours away from there. And yeah, Chicago is like insanity. It's like Chicago for the U.S. is like what Austria is for Europe. Like they're all conjugating in Chicago for some reason. I don't know why.
It's too cold there. Otherwise, I would go out
No, yeah. So I'm with you. No, I'm not. I'm not going to Chicago. It's freezing there.
there. Yeah, but I wish there was more Serbs for sure. But I do know a few.
We're a bit of a riot. It can be overwhelming when there's too many of them. Let me tell you. I lived in Windsor. There is a point where it's like, okay, this is too much.
That's funny. I like that.
So how did you get into photography and career path wise? That seems like a really interesting, really difficult and competitive thing to do.
Yeah, more so I guess on my dad's side, he liked taking pictures of me and my brother and my family, kind of capturing memories of stuff. So as I grew up, video and pictures were just associated with capturing memories for me. And
Right.
then when I got to college, I started playing. I played basketball and volleyball in high school too, but when I got to college, I continued playing basketball. And then I would kind of take like a little point and shoot camera, take pictures of my teammates, whatever the guys' teams. And then in about 2011 is when the NBA lockout happened. I don't know how familiar you are
Yeah,
with
yeah, of
that.
course.
Yeah. Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
Okay, so
I
yeah,
mean,
they went
come
on
on.
strike. I would hope so. Yeah.
I'm Serbian. Like
But
basketball is
yeah,
like in my blood.
you gotta like basketball. So
Yeah.
in 2011, yeah, is when they had an NBA lockout. So the guys were on strike. They couldn't play at their facilities. They were trying to find places around LA to play at. And
Right.
I kept hearing, different rumors about, hey, there's some players here, there. And I had bought like a very low level, like intro camera that I thought was like so cool at the time. So I just kept finding places the players were at. I would kind of talk to them, make friends, and say, can I send you the photos? They loved it because nobody was taking pictures during that time. And then
Right.
they would post them on Twitter. There was no Instagram yet. Maybe some Facebook, I guess. But that's kind of how it started. And then, like, when the season started again, nobody wanted to hire me. None of the, outlets or whatever, newspapers, they just said, like, nobody cares what players do in the off season. Nobody cares about their outfits, their clothes. And to
Hilarious.
me, I know, and that's all I had access to.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the opposite now. So
Literally the opposite. Yeah.
yeah, so I guess I would say I was the first like lifestyle photographer specifically for the NBA players. It's just I kept having to do it during the off seasons because that's the only time I really had access to them. And then I
Right.
started working with high school players and I'd follow them to the NBA. So it was really just a mixture of networking, taking pictures, and then social media taking off. Once Instagram
Right.
started, I was like, you know what? I'll just post on Instagram. If people want to see my photos, cool. So I kept posting on there. And then like, I mean, now social media's turned into a whole thing where you could actually make money from it, but back then it
Right.
was just the love of hopefully someone sees it. And then some people did see it, and I was getting jobs based off of Instagram and YouTube and
Nice.
all that stuff. So it kind of just, long story short, yeah, that's just kind of how it started. And I just never gave up. I still to this day don't work for the NBA or work for any like specific media organization. I'm freelance, but I'm friends with all the players, and yeah.
Is that for because you want to keep it that way? You don't want to go into a kind of a big business thing, or you like to keep individual clients? What's the reason for that?
I think I would be open to working with the NBA or a media outlet, but it just have to be on the right terms. I think a lot of
Right.
photographers kind of get stuck as being like invisible, like they're just there to capture content for the brand or the media outlet. And me,
Right.
I've kind of built my own brand. So if there's a way that I could collaborate with somebody where I could still kind of do things how I want, I would be open to it. But for the most part, the brands are catching up to basketball culture. Like the things
Sure.
that we were doing, over a decade ago, like I said, all the outfits, all that stuff, it took a long time for all the media outlets to catch up to us. So, they're eventually going to catch up, and I think it'll be a good mixture. But right now, it's still a little too corporate for some of the people I work with.
Right. But I mean, you said it perfectly. Like, you have your own personal brand. I think that's what you've done really well. Like, you have your own audience, and that gives you so much, like, freedom and negotiating power in any position. Like, that's super important.
Exactly. So I like it. And also, even last season, I went to Serbia. I got to shoot. Red Bull had like a 3-on-3 tournament out there, and I went out
Yeah.
and I shot it. And Serbia ended up winning, which was cool too. But I was like, let me
Against the
just stay.
States? Against the States, right? It
It was
was in the
against
final?
everybody in the world. Yeah, there was a whole bunch
Oh, but the final was against the US, no? Or am I wrong?
of the final. It was like the semifinal was the U.S. and
Oh,
then the
okay.
final was, I don't remember. I want to
No,
say,
that's okay. No worries.
yeah. So it was, but it was still really cool. So I stayed for like another 5 weeks after that, and I shot like Red Star games, Partizan games. So to me, I like being able to move around, get international basketball too.
That's cool. That's really cool. I guess I'm curious then, with a lot of these platforms moving away from photography, especially like Instagram, that has become so like real oriented. Like how how has that impacted your stuff, and like are you thinking differently about creating more like short form content as opposed to just photos now?
That's a great point and a great question, because that's been one of the hardest things for me, because I
Right.
love photography, and I do feel like Instagram started with photos, and now they've really like they kind of like punish creators for posting photos,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So but when I started my career, I started doing video and visual effects, and I know how to do it. I just have moved away from it. So now, yeah, I guess I've been coming back to trying to film more videos, trying to get content. But once upon
More
a time,
Babaroga animations,
did you
please.
see
That's
that on my YouTube? Oh my gosh. I know it's like my most watched videos.
I do my research a little bit.
Yeah. So when I was in college, I was an animation student, and I wanted to, I just did that for a school project and posted on YouTube and didn't think anybody would ever watch it.
Right.
So it was, and I tried to make it into a full cartoon, and then the NBA lockout happened and I took on basketball. But I used to, so then if you saw my YouTube, I did used to post like a day in the life of NBA
Yeah,
players
I did.
and post a lot of that stuff. But it was really tough because back then you can't monetize. So I'm filming 8 hours, editing for 2 weeks to post something for
Yeah.
free. So I'm trying to get back to it. I'm actually in the process. That's why I have my setup here. I'm trying to do my videos. So hopefully in the future, in the near future, there'll be videos coming again on my YouTube and Reels and all that stuff.
It's crazy. Like I haven't seen a photo on Instagram in what feels like ages. Like I literally, unless okay, that's a lie. You see photos, but it's like a photo that transitions into a video. It's like I don't know. You won't believe what LeBron said about Bronny. Let's say like as the picture and the headline, and then it transitions into like the interview. Like
Yeah,
it's a yeah 2 part story. But like
yeah.
normal photos, like the ones like photographers take, like they're completely gone.
Yeah, which I mean, I get it. I spend a lot of time watching videos on, Instagram too. I think it just catches people's attention, or holds people's attention
Yeah.
more. But it is tough because I don't think photography should be thrown aside because people like video.
Right.
But I'm gonna still keep doing video. I mean, I'm still gonna keep doing photos. I think it's important, but I am gonna integrate more videos just because I don't want to get stuck. Like for example, when I first started doing photography and social media was coming out, there was a lot of photographers who are mainly shooting for magazines and
Hmm.
like newspapers, and they didn't want to do social media. They thought it was stupid. They didn't want to catch on. And then now they don't really work anymore. So it's like it's a part of it. You kind of got to adapt to whatever the social media and the
Sure.
people are doing. So it's not terrible, but it is an adjustment.
I wonder if there will be then another platform. I am just genuinely curious because I do enjoy photography, of course. If there will be another platform that comes along and does kind of like says, okay, we want Instagram back, the original Instagram, because I don't think Instagram's gonna go back because they know they're gonna do the real thing. But I wonder if there's a platform that's like, no, no, listen, this is just gonna be photos and
Yeah.
nothing else. That would be cool. I don't know. Maybe is that something like that you would be a part of, or I don't know. Is there something that you know that exists like that, or no?
I mean, maybe I should start it. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
I mean, it could be a move. I was gonna say like,
I mean, it would be cool, but I think right now everything is where all the people are at and where the money's at. So I think it
yeah,
could exist. I don't know about it, but it would be tough because there are so many people on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, and I want to be able to monetize my content too.
sure.
So Instagram is really slow on doing that versus like a YouTube. So just trying to figure out how I could keep doing what I love and get paid to do it, even if a company's not hiring me. So,
That's such
I'm
a
gonna
difficult
just,
thing. I
yeah,
get. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
it's a weird situation, but yeah, we're gonna figure it out. I'm not gonna stop.
I'm with you. Agreed 100%. And I did see the YouTube videos, and to me, I would say those are kind of like the UFC embedded videos, but for basketball players. And what makes it really interesting is that they were posted like you made those like 7, 8 years ago, and you have insane like guests, or I don't, do you even call them guests, like day in the lives of like Wade or some crazy like those deserve way more views than they have. So I wonder how much of that could just be down to like the packaging, because ultimately you can do 95% of the work if the packaging, meaning the title and thumbnail, aren't good, the videos aren't going to do well. And that's something
Yeah.
I battle with every day. Like when I upload a video, I have like 3 different thumbnails now, and then within the first like 16 hours I know if that's a terrible title and thumbnail, and I'm constantly rotating. Like it's like a mini job within a job.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I made those videos. I haven't posted on YouTube in like 8 years, so they're a little outdated and stuff. But I'm definitely gonna have to, take that into consideration for the new stuff I'm posting.
Are you gonna make similar videos to that, but like like today in today's version of that, whatever? I don't know how to phrase that question.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I definitely want to. I think now it's a little more difficult because there are so many people trying to film them versus back then I was the only
Right.
person doing it. So, I mean, I definitely have access to the players and can get stuff like that, but it is a lot of work to do it. So I think,
Sure.
and I really can only do it during the off season. That's like the easiest time when they have free time. So, but my career and my own personal journey has been pretty interesting. So I'm going to be
Hmm.
posting a lot of videos of myself. I think there's some really cool stories. Like when people that know me, I tell all kinds of stories about my life, and it's like watching a reality TV show. It's just very interesting. So I'm gonna show more of like my life and maybe like day in the life of me when I'm at events
Yeah.
working with different athletes. So that way it's not focused on just trying to get like a guest athlete versus like they're
Right.
kind of the guest in my show and I'm the
That's
main,
really smart.
person. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might post some unboxing videos, post some story time. I definitely like telling stories about my photos I've already taken too. So I'm just trying different things right now, trying to mix it up and see what's gonna work best. Because honestly, I don't know. But there'll still be content of players. I'm not gonna ever stop
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah.
If I see a video that's like the day in the life of a Google employee and it has like 2 million views,
Right.
I'm gonna lose my shit if you can't get a similar amount of views. Someone that has such a crazy job and like backstage access and all this crazy footage, like
Yeah.
that deserves just as much attention. Like I don't care about what the 9,500th YouTube employee does on their on their day at work.
Right. No, I appreciate it. Yeah. So that's what I mean. But they put it out and I didn't. So I just got to start putting it out and see what happens.
You've said it. You've got some interesting stories. I'd like to hear some of them because you have some insane footage and videos from some of the craziest athletes and events on the planet. Some backstage footage for events that are thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to get into the venue. So like, what are some things that really stand out in the past like decade of doing this?
Oh my gosh.
That's a loaded question, I know.
Like, I wish I could have like looked at my Instagram and picked a photo or something. But I mean, I would say like one thing a
I can
lot of
pull that
people.
up. I can pull it up and ask if you want. That's not a problem.
I know. I mean, I think one of the things that people, one of the most famous things that I've done, which is even cool for me when I go to like Serbia or anywhere in the world, is like my Nick Young meme. Did you know what the Nick Young
No,
meme
no,
is?
I must have missed that. What's the Nick Young meme?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I
was
gotta,
it the one where he's like confused in the
yes, with the
hotel
question
room? That's
mark.
you?
Yes. See what I
You
mean?
need to advertise that better. What are you talking about? You made that meme?
Yes. So that was from my first day in the life I filmed. I filmed of Nick Young. So it was
Yo,
like,
I'll help you make that short form video if you need. Like that's a hilarious story within itself.
I know I need to do one. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like I created that. I filmed that in 2013. So that was over, 10 years ago, 11 years ago at this point. But I filmed it. I was filming a day in his life, and he kind of planned everything. He took me everywhere, and so we went to his mom's house. And there was one point, his mom's really funny, and they were talking back and forth about a story. And this is all on my YouTube, like the original YouTube
Yeah.
day in the life I filmed. And she was just saying how one of the NBA players that saw him play was saying, he's got a lot of talent, but if he took it serious, he'd be great. And then the mom says, but Nick was a clown back then. And then Nick looked at her like why you calling me a clown, And the clip was so fast when you watch it. It was just like a quick like that. But for some reason inside me, I was like, something is saying I need to pause it and add question marks. So I don't know
Right.
what it was. It took me a few hours to get all the graphics perfect. Posted it, didn't really do anything for a while. And then I would say maybe like 6-7 months later, I started seeing the screenshot of that go viral
Yeah.
on Twitter. And this was before memes were really like a thing. And so I just
Yeah.
kept like reporting everyone, like, why is everyone using my meme and not giving me credit? So I don't even know who the first one is that like made it go viral, but it went super viral, and to this day it's still viral. So I mean, even something like that is just wild to think my first episode I ever filmed
Yeah.
and I created something like that viral.
My goal in life is to become a meme. Like I think that would be the full circle of life. So the fact
Hopefully
that you
not a
just
bad thing though. There's some memes out there you don't want to be.
true. Honestly, but I will say this: there's like very few memes that I'm like I would be associated with like a bad thing. I don't know. I I
Like
try
you
to make
tripping
my
and falling, you don't want a meme
so
like that or something.
well, yeah, maybe not. Maybe there is some bad memes too. But a meme in general. I actually know someone. Maybe you know him too. David Vujanic, Serbian guy.
I don't know. I'm
No,
not sure.
he's a really popular Serbian influencer. He used to make a lot of content around football, but he is actually a meme himself. Can I show you in the chat? Yes, I can. David Vooch, you got to see this.
Okay.
You'll definitely know when you see this photo. Okay, here, I'll send it to you in the chat. Like when you see this photo, you'll know. I think everyone's seen this. I think he's like one of the top 10 memes of all time.
Okay.
So it's just a kid like going like this, like.
I've probably seen it.
So he became a meme just randomly posting his like school photo from when he was a kid.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, like just completely random, and it just took off. And at one point, I remember he's a crazy story. Someone tried to buy his meme like an NFT version of it, and they were gonna pay him like $50,000 for an
And he took
NFT.
it?
I'm sorry, this doesn't have a happy ending. He didn't take it. He's like, I don't know, man. I feel weird about it, blah, blah, blah. He ultimately didn't sell it. Obviously, NFTs kind of died. But yeah, there was a time when people were selling memes for like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like NFTs. It was really weird.
I know people were all talking to me about selling my meme, but the reason I specifically did not do it is because there was like gray area of who legally owns it. So it wasn't like you buy it and it's like a cool little souvenir. It's like you own the rights to it. So it's like if I would have sold my meme for even 50,000, 100,000, and now somebody else can license it to commercials and movies, like I don't want to do that.
True.
Yeah. So
how does that work? Yeah, I wonder. That's really interesting. Like memes are such a weird like gray area between like copyright and.
Well, no, the memes, I own the meme for sure, but I'm saying the NFT part, selling the
Oh.
NFTs was a gray area. Yeah, for the memes, it doesn't matter how viral it goes. I own the photo, so.
Right.
I mean, people post it, and I kind of don't really stop it from being posted, but if it's being sold on T-shirts or anything like that, I definitely shut it down.
Oh, really? Oh, is that like a thing that happens a lot? People selling
Yeah,
swaggy P shirts?
well, there's like websites where you can upload like any image and sell stuff.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that, but it's pretty easy to report those. I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, for the most part, I try to report it. I mean, I went to China one time to go shoot the Warriors and the Timberwolves. And this is when
Mm-hmm.
Nick Young was on the Warriors. And I like, walked out of the hotel. It was the same hotel as the players. And it's like all these fans, and there's fans wearing like the question mark, like meme shirt with Nick Young. I'm like, where'd you get that shirt? Like, I didn't get paid for that. So I mean, it's like,
Damn.
it's cool that people like it, but at the same time, I'm like, who's making money off this? So
Yeah,
kind of
that's
hard to
always where it gets.
control.
Did you ever talk to him about him turning into a meme because of your photo? Did you ever? Does he even know that it was you? Like, does he
Of
remember?
course, he's
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
oh, how could he not? Like, because I mean, when I filmed him, he wasn't that famous as he is now.
True.
So
True.
the
True.
meme, I mean, he's known more for the meme sometimes than a basketball player. I think he
That's
does
so
a lot
true.
of yeah, he does a lot of interviews where he says people come up to him and know him from the meme versus being like an NBA champion with the Warriors. So,
Yeah, that's
um,
crazy.
but anytime he does an interview like on big platforms, he gives credit. I mean, we're friends. I've known him and his family now for, over a decade. So he definitely makes sure to give me credit for everything. And I mean, it's cool. Hopefully, I think he's probably gotten more attention and money from it than I have. But, I've licensed it to a couple commercials before that he's done stuff with. So, it hasn't been
That's
all
cool.
bad, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
an
one of those
interesting.
things. Once it's out of like the genie's out of the box, it's so hard to put it back in. Like I don't know. I see now pages stealing. Like now that my channel is doing a little bit better and some videos are doing well, I see like my meme being stolen or my video being stolen by like just random Balkan channels. And part of me is like I'm pissed, but part of me is like whatever, man. Like I can't be asked to like report and deal with all these random people. Like whatever. It is what it is. Part of
Right,
the game.
exactly.
I just accept it as like part of the game. Like nothing much, not much I can do for the most part.
Exactly. That's the best way to look at it.
Some other stories. Maybe I guess I can pull up some Instagram photos as well. I do want to ask about the Drizzy photo with the hair. Like, was this some high school game? What is this event?
Yeah, so that was last summer. In the off season, I try to find the NBA players because they'll do like runs with other NBA players. Just working out, playing, or whatever.
Yes.
And it's very private. They don't let photographers in there, and so they're all over the place. Like there's maybe like 3 or 4 big locations where all the NBA players in LA will go train. So that was
Right.
one of the trainers was doing a run, and they didn't really want cameras there, but because I'm friends with the players, I was able to kind of, get in there. And so when I got there, it was Kevin Durant and Devin Booker were like the 2 big players. And at the time,
Yep.
Drake was on tour and he was in town, I guess, because he had a show in LA in the next couple of days. So he had like a couple of days off. And I was like sitting in the gym and then I'm like looking and I was like, is that Drake? Because he had his hair, the like puff balls, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was so random because there must have been like 20 people in the gym other than the 10 guys on the court. Like it was
Crazy.
very small. And it was a high school basketball gym. But like I said, it was closed off. It was private. So he walked over and I met Drake through just the other basketball games I've been to and stuff like that. He used to come to Sierra Canyon games with like LeBron James and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I walked over, said hi to him, and then I wanted to get some pictures of him and like up close. So I got the, cool pictures of him with the puff
Yep.
balls and everything. And then after the run, he just asked me like, hey, send me all your pictures. I want to post your pictures. So I sent him all my pictures. He posted them and they went viral on both ends, on his end and my end. And
That's sick.
then
That's
I had
awesome.
asked him that day, like, hey, because I don't like asking anybody for anything, but I was like, can I get a media pass to shoot one of your concerts? I would love to shoot a concert. So a few days later, he was coming back to LA. It was like a, crypto arena, Staples Center. So he followed through and he gave me credentials and I had like a all access pass and I went up to his concert that following Monday and
Sweet.
got to shoot the whole concert. So that kind of stuff was cool, but super random, right? Like if I didn't go that
Right.
day, I would have missed all of that. So that's kind of how my life works. It's just you just got to put yourself out there and see who shows up. But that's the cool part of living in LA. And not saying
Yeah.
anybody could do that. Like I know that like I have relationships to be in the rooms that stuff like that could happen. But and then for the most part, because I've gotten so big like in the basketball world, anyone associated with basketball or knows basketball respects me enough, so I get to do some cool stuff like that every now and then.
Very cool. Let me ask you, maybe this is a dumb question, but what makes a really great photo? Because like I see photos all the time, and some of them like I can describe that I think it's like a dope or cool photo, but I can't quite internalize why. So as someone that does it professionally, like how do you know you have like a really good photo, and how do you know like all right, this is going to the bin?
No, that was a great question. For me, I want to capture emotion. Like I want you to look at a photo and I want you to feel something, whether it's excitement, feel, sad, happiness, whatever the case is. So you first have to have like, technical skills. The photo should have good lighting
Sure.
and good, not be blurry
Focus
and all
and
that.
yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. Composition. But then also I just like to have the emotion of it. If it's a dunk, I want you to feel like, oh my God, this is a crazy angle. If it's like two people smiling on the court, I want you to feel like you're hanging out with them. So to me,
Right.
I think a bigger part is like capturing, like to relive a moment versus just like a photo. So, and that's maybe like why even when I go to NBA games and I bring my camera and I'm kind of even in the crowd, people were kind of drawn to that kind of look better because it felt like you were in the crowd watching the game versus
Right.
just sitting like the same angles all the other photographers sit. So I don't know. I like a little bit different. Even if I see a bunch of photographers sitting somewhere, we're all going to get different photos, but I want mine to be a little more like personal, in depth, emotional. So I guess to me, that's what I like.
Do you have like a Mount Rushmore of your like top 5 favorite photos, or like maybe even the memory of at the event you were there? Like what sticks out from your work?
Man, I feel like, again, I have to look at
Is it
my
tough
Instagram.
to? Here's your first YouTube video idea: ranking my photos tier list. Like,
Right. No, that's honestly, seriously. Because I know people always ask me like, "What's your favorite photo?" And I think I usually give like similar answers because it's the only one I think of. But
right.
um, I like earlier in like Steph Curry's All Star career, like his first year as an All Star and doing stuff. I was working with Under Armour, and they would have me shoot a lot of stuff of him at All Star weekends, and so I got to shoot like some really cool moments of him. Whether we were like one moment I've talked about before is we were in Toronto for All Star weekend and we were going to a mall appearance and we got in a helicopter and it started snowing while we were in the helicopter. It was like a blizzard while we were in the air,
Jesus.
and it was like a little scary. And then when
It's
we
a
landed,
nightmare.
yeah, and so when we landed, it was just like snow everywhere. And I asked Steph to like stand there, and I took all these pictures. And I'm from LA, I don't get to shoot in the snow,
Right. Yeah.
So he stood there, and I got all these cool pictures of him in like a blizzard. Um, I mean, there's
Damn,
other
that's
really
cool.
cool. Another cool moment, I guess, in more recent times is Carmelo Anthony's son Kyan was playing against LeBron's two kids, Bronny and Bryce, in high school. It was a couple
Yeah.
years ago, and I didn't even realize Kyan was playing. I just went to a Sierra Canyon game because I live close by, and I went and I was like, "Oh wow, this is a huge game!" And so the one photo I really wanted to get was LeBron, Melo, and all three boys. And I knew it was going to be hard because even if you wanted that photo, you can't ask the players to help
Sure.
organize it.
Sure.
And so I was like, I'm the one person that can make this happen. So at halftime, I told Carmelo, and he was kind of like, he looked like it wasn't really going to happen. So I went up to LeBron and I said, I want to get a picture, of you and the boys and Melo. And he was like looking and he's like, well, they're warming up. And we're both kind of like looking back and forth. And he's like, okay, go get Melo's son. I'll get my boys. Let's do it. So I
Yeah.
go, I didn't even know Cayenne. I pulled him out of the layup line. LeBron went and got his two kids. And then we got Melo, and I lined them all up. And immediately I turned around, and there was like 50 people behind me trying to push me out of the way for the photo. And I was like, no,
Damn.
like I organized this photo. So
Vultures.
yeah,
Vultures.
so I had to like push all of them back out. Like, I don't care who you are, I organized this photo. So they moved out the way, and I took this really nice photo. And I was like, wow, that was great. Without me realizing, everybody was there for ESPN and all that and shooting on their iPhone. So they just posted their like
Yeah.
low quality, weird angle photos, and then it went viral because it was first versus, mine being like the
Oh
nicest
shit.
photo. So
Yeah.
I was a little like disappointed because it was like, man, it was a lot of work. If I didn't set that photo up, nobody would have got it. And
Right.
and so then like a few days later, one of my friends that was there, Nikki, she took a picture of me talking to LeBron, like an off guard shot, and sent it to me. And I was like, okay. So I post on Instagram and I was like, me and LeBron trying to organize this epic photo. And he reposted it on Instagram and he said, yeah, exactly. But we got the photo, something like that. So it was kind of cool. He like acknowledged out of all
Right.
his followers, like, yeah, Cassie's the one that got the photo. So to me, like moments like that are super exciting, but also the photo I took is the best one. So
Yeah.
it worked out in the long run.
That doesn't
but
hurt
yeah.
either, right?
Yeah, but it's like even something like that, people probably think like it's so easy, like they just they just got there and grouped together for a photo, but it's not. Like those moments are really
Right.
hard. Somebody has to put it together. And it's a high school game. There's not like PR and media people doing it. So, it's interesting, but I'm glad that I got my photo and it still goes viral to this day. So we're
That's
okay.
right. It's
Yeah.
often the stuff that looks the easiest is very difficult because if it looks easy means there was a lot of time and effort to make it look easy, right? Which is
Yeah,
interesting.
exactly. So I love those kind of moments. I love like high pressure. You got to get this. To me, I'm
Yeah.
just like, that's how my brain works when I'm at a game. I'm like, what's like the craziest moment that I could capture that people are going to love for years? And so that's kind of where my brain goes versus just kind of snapping away.
It sounds like a really like cutthroat business, like photography in general. Is it really difficult and a lot of competition and it's like I don't know, everyone's looking out for their own ass, like
Definitely. And I
yeah,
think it's gotten harder because like photography is so much more, cameras are more affordable, there's more people at these events. When I
right.
was shooting high school players, there was nobody there shooting, and now there's like hundreds of people with cameras trying to find the next NBA star or whatever. So in that way it's a little more difficult, but luckily I was able to kind of establish myself early on before all these people came out of nowhere. So
Mm-hmm.
I've at least established relationships, but it is very competitive. And that's why, you got to keep sticking with the times. If video is the new thing I got
Right.
to do, then I got to stick with it. Otherwise, I'll kind of fade into the background because somebody else will be doing videos. So it is competitive, but I love it. And I'm blessed to be able to make money doing this full time. And also, like
Right.
influencer jobs, like social media has changed everything where I could get paid to work with brands and post on social
Yes.
media. So a lot of that stuff, people like to make fun of influencers, but like you can make a full time career posting content, make money off YouTube videos,
I
promoting people. So
I got paid to make a Vegeta video, guys. Laugh all you
really,
fucking want. You laugh and an iVod video. Laugh all you want.
gold.
All
That's
right.
gold right there.
They
I
even offered to
do that
send me
every
free
day.
iVod, but yeah, who's laughing now, guys?
That's the goal. I know I saw everyone giving you a hard time about the Vegeta. What was up with that?
People, there's the Balkans are beautiful in many ways, but in tragic in other ways, where they will literally find the stupidest thing to argue about. And in one sense, like I'm looking at it, I'm like, guys, can we just like agree on like one thing? But then like the influencer, YouTuber, content creator part of me is like, oh, engagement.
Right,
Yes,
exactly.
argue more. And I'll just slide in there and be like, oh no, I made that mistake. I'll drop in like, 300 comments in. I'll be like, oh yeah, I did make that mistake, but I'll let them fucking simmer a little bit.
That's hilarious. That's funny. No, it's true. When I saw it, I like kicks. I love Vegeta. I love all the Balkan things.
I'm telling you, my goal right now as a content creator is to get Ivar sponsorship, Vegeta sponsorship, and ideally Yafa Kex. If I can do all three, I will not need any other sponsorships. I will retire from marketing. I'm just like, yeah, boys, I did
I
it. Like this is
mean,
the dream.
that's the goal right there. Every time I come back from Serbia, I'm getting plasma cakes, Jaffa cakes. We got Vegeta here, but those two things I mainly am buying when I'm over there to bring home.
Yeah,
So.
I'm blessed. I found a Serbian guy here. I live in Spain, in Valencia. I found a guy in Madrid that just like runs the business. Like he barely makes any profit on it, and I swear to God, I'm keeping this man like afloat. Like I will. I'm ordering like twice a month. Like I'm telling him like I'll do free promotions, buddy. Like I need you not to go under. Like you're literally like you're my savior in this part of the world.
Yeah, we have like a lot of Armenians in like this area, and they'll like import a lot of those kind of foods. So luckily, I've been able
Blessed.
to find like Vegeta at all the Armenian stores and stuff. So
That's a
yeah,
blessing. I'm literally like I'm not even joking. I want these sponsorships, and I'm gonna start like putting comments in like the Vegeta official Instagram, like I don't know, like a wink emoji collab. I don't know, like
all right, no, that's a great idea. Start DMing them. Yeah.
be like, hey guys, like I have a video on Vegeta that has like 500,000 views. What are we doing? Why are we pretending? Let's stop this little dog and pony show. Let's collab already.
You gotta send it to them. You never know what could
I,
happen.
I'm gonna write it down. Like I'm gonna write it down. Like I'm gonna send Yafa Kex a DM.
You know
I
what
could.
I did a long time ago is I sent Sony a DM because I love
No
cameras.
way.
I love Sony, and it took them a couple years to respond. But now I've been doing sponsorships with Sony, so
Couple of years. Damn, that's a long game.
yeah. But it worked
Respect.
out. Now I got all my Sony gear and everything. So
That respect, hey, it worked. Whatever, 3, 4 year, who gives a shit? It's free Sony gear. I'll do that too. Shit, so add
exactly.
Sony to the list. I don't
All
care.
right, just add all the
Even if it
microphone companies, all of them.
even if it doesn't go well, like I'll turn it into a video. Be like, the day I shot my shot at Yaffa Kex. Like, I'll make like
Exactly.
a.
See, you're thinking of content. That's what I gotta
I'm
send
already.
you.
I shit you not, I have a Notion sheet with like 5 different sections of like the different kinds of videos I'm making, and there's like 40 plus video ideas in each section. So it's not a matter of
Wow.
like ideas. I just don't have time to literally
Okay.
make all the shit in my head. I have an insane amount of ideas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you come up with your ideas? Because they're pretty funny. Like I like the videos. That's how I found you. Is that the algorithm popped
Appreciate
up,
it.
and I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow. But how do you even come up with something like that?
Honestly, like I wish I had a real good answer for you, but half the time it's just like my crazy brain. Like I'm sleeping, it's like 1 in the morning, and I'm like, oh, that's a funny thing my dad said. Oh, that's a good meme. And I'll wake up and I'll like pull out my phone and I'll start like just rambling to myself in like a voice clip. Be like, Dad, close the door really loud today. Why, this is a funny. Yeah, let's turn this into a meme. And then I'll go to my computer and then I'll just next day I'll start like trying to do a script. Sometimes it'll like be like I have the idea, I can film like within 5 minutes. Other times I have no idea what it is. It's something. It's like a I can see it, but I can't quite put it together, and I'll just leave it there for a while. And eventually like I'll look at it once in a while and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that actually oh no, I have a way to end that video." And then it'll just gradually build from that. But it's
That's
a
great.
constant battle. It's a constant battle with like my trying to get my brain into these weird places where I can extract these ideas. Like I also take a lot of influence from other people, obviously. Like I see memes and I'm like, how do I make this Balkan? Like like this is a
No,
funny
that makes
meme.
sense. Yeah.
But there's a method to the madness. It seems like chaotic from the outside, but it's consistent. So something's working. I have consistent ideas, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I love it because I don't know if the first time I found your page was through Balkan Dad, maybe. Also, I think I figured out how to fix my microphone. It might be louder now, but
No, no worries, no worries.
I think you did an interview with Balkan Dad, and that was like the
Yes.
first time I heard him talking like in his normal voice,
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. So, um, but
that's
then
a
when I
sure.
saw it, when I saw your page, I was like, oh wow, this is you had a lot of funny skits and stuff, and I feel like maybe 10 years ago it was so hard to find any kind of like Balkan comedy stuff, or maybe there's
Sure.
like one or two things. But now, like my algorithm on Instagram is like full of just like funny
Balkan
Balkan
memes.
videos, and I feel like it helps me like keep the language sharp because I don't
Oh,
get to
true.
speak it that much. So to me, when I watch it, I start understanding. I understand probably 90% of it, but when I speak, sometimes my grammar is not good. But it's nam to govorim, like I got
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it.
That's good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just a matter of practice. Like when I go to Serbia for like a week or a month, like my Serbian it gets so much better. Like it just like
yeah,
it goes up a level because like I have to speak it every day with everyone. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even know I remembered that word. Let's go. Like I'll get excited about
yeah. Oh,
random
it's
words.
good. Last year I went to Serbia, I think 3 times, which was kind of wild. I spent like almost 2 months total last year in Serbia, and I
Damn.
was there this year too. And most of my cousins don't know English, so when I stay with them, I'm like really forced to learn, like words I never thought of. But some words like I won't know, and I'll just say them in English with an accent and be like
Yes, yes.
"Radiator," and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah."
Same,
So
same, same.
sometimes if you don't know a word, just say it in English with an accent, and they might know it.
Honestly, it could be a good like once again I'm going back to the content thing. I have a problem I think, but it could be a funny meme page where it's like just English, I mean English words that you're trying to Serbianize. I don't even know. Like that could be a
Right, or they just put an accent on it, and that's how you say it in Serbian, which is kind of funny. So,
English words. There's a video here. Like I'm sorry, I have to write this.
no, you got to. No, I love it. So, I definitely, I'm planning on going to Serbia. I've never been there for New Year's, like Nova Godina, Božić, all that. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to go in January. I have a plane ticket booked. We'll see if it actually goes through, but right now I'm planning on going in January, and I want to go see like the traditions and how it is in Serbia, and then go to a
Beautiful.
few like basketball games.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it better have some basketball in there because the atmosphere at the Partizan or Red Star games is insanity. Like that is arguably the best sporting atmosphere I have ever been to a Partizan game. It's otherworldly. Like the kind of vibe and sound in there when it's like packed.
It was a basketball game you went to?
I went to a Partizan versus Fenerbahce EuroLeague, and
But
the
it was
game
soccer
actually
or
basketball,
soccer? Okay, okay.
basketball in the Stark Arena. It was last November actually. 16,000 people. Like the game went down to the wire. Like I think it was 1 point game at the end. There was this one guy from Fenerbahce that apparently played on Partizan the season prior. Like they
Okay.
fell out. He did something like snaky. I don't remember what the full story is, but he did something snaky. And every time he touched the ball, those are the, I don't know if you can hear the Spanish church bells.
I heard it.
Perfect timing, perfect timing. Every time he touched the ball, it was like I had to like put like something over my ears because I couldn't hear. That's how loud it was. He had 2 points the entire game. He like literally shit himself. Like he couldn't perform. It was insanity.
Wow. Yeah, actually, that's funny. I just missed you because I was there in October last year. And the first game I was there for like the first official game of the season, and it was like Kemba Walker was playing for
Yes,
Monaco.
Monaco, yeah.
Yeah, or they say Monaco in Serbia, but
Whatever, yeah. Same shit.
yeah. And so he was playing, and I used to shoot him when he was in the NBA. And then he was playing against Red Star, and then one of his former college teammates was on Red Star at the time. So I was so happy I got to shoot that game. I shot that. I also I shot a few Partizan games because I knew like Kevin Punter, I knew James Nunnally, I knew a lot of the big players for Partizan, and then they all left now. So now it's like a whole new team of people. So when I go in January, I got to look at the roster, see who's there. But there's like a few. I feel like there's always like a few players overseas I know, but I definitely will say one of the coolest perks about knowing Serbian or just this language in general, is working with NBA players, because when you find anybody from the Balkans, you start speaking Serbian. So I even have like a cool way of how I met like Luka Doncic and Jokic. So I was at a Dallas Mavericks game, and the Mavericks gave me credentials. They, were really cool with me and everything. And so after the game, I told some of the people that work for the NBA, I'm like, I want to meet Luka. And they were like, well, it's going to be really tough because after the games, he leaves right away. He doesn't talk to anybody. And I was like, no, he's going to stop and talk to me. And they're like, he's not, so they were all like, we had this bet going if he was going to stop and talk to me. And so we were in the back, and then he starts walking. He's got his phone. He's got a hoodie on. Like he's trying to like not be noticed. And he's like speed walking. And I was like, Luka. And he like isn't looking. And I was like, Dali mogu da se slikam s tobom. And he was like, oh. And he like, check it. And he just like calls it. And he came over and he started talking to me. And I think he knew who I was too from like social media. And we were talking, and I was like, I asked to take a picture of him. And then he was like, let's get one together. So we took a picture together. And like everybody from like the NBA and the Mavericks that was standing there was like blown away. They're like, how did you do that? And I was like, it's that Balkan connection, right?
Yeah, Balkan connection. Oh my God.
Yeah. So then like a month later, I'm good friends with like Aaron Gordon and his family. So the Nuggets were in LA, and they got me tickets. And we got post-game passes where you get to be around the family. And so Jokic came out, and I was like, well, it worked on Luka, let me just try it on Jokic, right? So like Nikola's talking to his people, and then he's leaving, and all these people are like, Jokic. And I was like, Nikola, Dali Bogu, that's a slikam stuff. The same thing. And then he turned around, and he was like, oh, and his face was all excited, and he was like, oh my God. And he was talking to me, and it was harder for me to explain to him who I was because he doesn't have social media. So I'm like, I'm like a social media NBA photographer. He was like,
what is social media? What is this? What does you take a photo? Where do you put this? Internet?
Right.
What is this?
Like he was confused, but like I've never seen him so excited the way he just was like genuinely like when I said it, and he came over, he took a picture with me, and then he started walking away, and everybody else asking for pictures, he didn't even look at them, so
That's
it was
so
so like stuff like that. There was a player, Mario Hezonja, when he was in the NBA. I was shooting a workout. I didn't know where he was from actually, but I don't think he knew where I was from. And it was just some random workout in LA, and he was like, oh, what's up, Cassy? I like your photos. I was like, thanks. And then he's like, while he's shooting, all you just hear him is cussing. Oh, he's just like all these cuss words. And I was like, wait a second, where's this dude from? So like afterwards, I walked up to him and I was like, where are you from? And he was like, Croatia. And I was like, Yatera Zumim.
Croatia.
And he was like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Like, he was so embarrassed. But like, it was funny because he was cussing, like, I mean, as we all do when we do basketball, you miss a shot. So when I said, like, Yatera Zumim, and then he just like, we just laughed about it. And then to this day, we're cool. So to me, it's like really cool that there's so many like basketball players in the NBA and all over the world that speak it. So I'm really glad that I learned Serbian because it's helped me in the basketball world. Like, who would have thought, I guess. So
You literally the two of the best players in the world right now speak Serbian or whatever, Serbo-Croatian, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, like, and you know the language. That seemed to line up pretty well. Like,
no, it's good. That's a cool thing. I was gonna say, yeah, there's all over, like whether it's Ivica Zubac, he's a Croatian guy.
Yeah.
Even earlier this year,
Dario Saric, I believe, now plays for the Nuggets as well.
Yeah, Bogdan Bogdanovic,
sure.
Boban Marjanovic. I think he's overseas again now, but all these guys.
More Nicolas now in the NBA. There's Nikola Jovic.
Right, Nikola Jovic. Yeah, I know all of them.
Like, holy crap.
Right, I get to talk to them all. Even earlier this year on New Year's, Paul George had me shoot a New Year's party he was doing, and his wife is Serbian, and so we talked a little bit in Serbian, and then Ivica Zubac was there, so Croatian. His wife is Croatian. I talked to them, and then one of the other players, Norman Powell, has I believe I want to say Serbian girlfriend, and so then she was like, "Oh, I heard you speaking." So it was funny. It was like this like Clippers party, and there's like 6 Balkan people there, and we're all like talking. Like, who would have thought Beverly Hills? We're just all taking over somehow. So stuff like that to me is really cool, and I feel like with all the stuff that like Jokic has done and Doncic and all these guys, obviously like Novak and all these players have put Serbia on the map in a really good way, I think. So it's really cool, and in the Balkans in general, like we got great athletes, but I gotta go for my Serbian guys. So
this has to be like, I don't know why like more casual like American fans haven't picked up that like if they learn just like one sentence of Serbian when they go to their Nuggets game or their Mavericks, they are literally gonna like get the VIP treatment. Like, I know it's crazy, but like learn one sentence and they're gonna like immediately shift their attention from whatever is going on to like you in the crowd.
Right, but don't cuss at them though. Learn a good.
Don't cuss at them. Yeah, be nice. But I'm saying like if you want an autograph, like if you're gonna say, "Hey Luka, can I get an autograph?" or you're like, "Hey Luka, mogu jednu sliku s tobom," they're definitely gonna answer the second one.
Yep, exactly. I mean, you saw it work with me twice.
Yeah, could be the life hack. Honestly, that's funny.
Life hack, right? Like learn one sentence. I've thought about that too with Giannis because I was like, I'm part Greek. I don't know Greek at all. And I was like, there's no way I could even, I think he tried to teach me like 3 words one time. And I was like, this language is so hard. Like,
some languages are brutal. Yeah, some languages are just brutal. Like Greek is one of them.
Yeah, Greek is tough. Do you know Spanish?
I do speak Spanish now, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Was it hard for you to learn it? I feel like Spanish is not as bad, but...
So 2 things. One is when you know a second language, learning a third is a lot easier. If you're learning your second language, then it's difficult. It's a little bit more difficult. Now, having said that, I don't think any language in particular is difficult, even if, let's say, you don't have like the language ability. As long as you can dedicate a small amount of time to it daily, and you can, like, it's just like photography or YouTube or any other skill. Like, if you just do a little bit every day, eventually... And you forget about like even the amount of time you put in, at some point you're just gonna be able to speak and flow with it. And it's not difficult. I don't think any language, if you have time, it can be learned. Spanish was not difficult, no. I don't. But
did it get easier because you're living there? I feel like that makes it easier.
No.
To learn too. Okay.
It did help. It definitely helped. Obviously, it improved when I got here. But I was learning Spanish like 2 years before I got here. So when I knew that I was gonna move here, like I started doing Spanish 1 hour a day. Every day, no excuse. Like some days I would forget and I would be like in the club and it's like 11:30 and I'd look at my little Duolingo bird and I would be like, oh fuck, in the middle of the club I'm screaming, hola, I'm like screaming at it, can't hear me, like the music's so loud. And like it gives me that sound where it's like it's wrong. I'm like, I know it's right, you just can't. So I had to go outside the club, I'm yelling at Duolingo, like Duolingo, I'm crazy.
That's hilarious. So you don't lose your streak on Duolingo.
I shit you, I had 1,000 10 days streak on Duolingo.
Oh my god!
I have a problem. Like I'm telling you, I have some sort of issue. I don't know what it is. It's not documented or treated, but
You need a sponsorship from them too. DM the Duolingo bird.
Don't give me ideas. Like this is.
Tell them to make Serbian on there too. I've been trying to find Serbian.
There. If you're trying to do Serbian, there's an app called. They're not paying me. They should. Ling.
Okay.
It costs I think it's like $70-$80 a year. There is no free apps for Serbian, but it's basically like Duolingo for Serbian.
But the thing is, I know like 90% of Serbian.
Yeah,
I just need that extra I think mine is just going to Serbia more to learn it better.
Yeah.
Because I speak it really well. I don't need the basics of whatever.
True. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, I don't know like how much value. I tried it just for fun to see like what level it is. I went to the last test and I was like, oh, this is too easy. But if you have like this beginner novice level, it can be like it's better than nothing, I guess.
For sure. No, that's good to know.
I guess we're approaching the hour mark. This flew by for me. I was gonna ask you. Hopefully, it did for you as well.
Yeah, it did.
For content, like what's the game plan in the future? I see you're posting a few more shorts on YouTube. I'm just curious what you got cooking.
In the future, I'm definitely, and I'm doing this right now. I'm filming YouTube videos. I've invested in some cool cameras that I could take. Mm-hmm. I think the hardest thing is when I'm shooting photos somewhere is like I'm there getting hired to shoot photos. So it makes it difficult to try to focus on doing behind the scenes content. I have to set up a tripod, but also focus on photography. So I'm like working with like one of my friends now who's kind of helping come, with me to events, do some behind the scenes. So I think there's just going to be a lot more video content I'm going to be putting out, but also photos. Like I'll never go away from photos. I think, when they say a photo can have 1,000 words or whatever, like to me, that's what I want to portray in my work. But also I understand video and I do love storytelling. I think in the future you might see me as a director and I might be doing some directing, whether it's commercials or short stories. TV shows, doing stories about my life. I've been doing a lot of script work. So there's a lot of stuff that I've been working on quietly that it might not be known publicly because it just hasn't happened yet. But definitely more storytelling, whether it's photos or videos, I'm going to keep doing that.
I think you have a lot of very unique stories that are just your own, and obviously adding your own like writing style, comedy, twist, whatever you want to call it, is the selling point or like the really interesting part. The question becomes how to effectively market that. That's the real challenge in any of these things. There's a lot of people with really good stories, but they have no idea how to actually put them out for a larger audience. So that's going to be like the tweaking part of these like videos. So if you need some like, I don't know, someone to bounce ideas off of or any help or whatever I can offer you, let me know. Even if it's just suggestions.
I definitely will. I appreciate that because I need all the help I could get with all of it. So
everyone needs some help. Even like I have some friends that are like some of the bigger YouTubers, and I go to them and I will literally like pick their brain for an hour. I'll be like, hey man, what do you think of this intro? And then they'll like give me a 20-minute. No, this is too long. Get to the point quicker. The editing here needs to be better. I'm like, okay, like this is perfect. And that's invaluable. Like that's a service that like is worth $1 million.
No, it is. When I used to do my videos back in the day, the day in the life, the test was I'd show it to my parents and see how fast they'd lose interest. I mean, they would be like trying to focus because it's like video.
I don't want. Neće gledamo. Ajde, ima nešto drugo. Like.
Okay. They start looking at their phone.
Okay, you're like, need to write a new intro.
Cut
Bad
intro. Right, exactly. My mom's pretty good. My dad might be looking at his phone, but yeah, that was kind of like my test. But even now when I watch those videos, I'm like, oh, I mean, social media has changed a lot now, but I would make them a lot shorter. I've learned like little tricks here and there about how to keep people's attention. And, so I've been watching. I have a TikTok, I was like, I'm going to post every day on TikTok. And, I had this video with Adam Sandler playing basketball with a bunch of NBA players. Go super viral. Yeah, it was like I had 400 followers and the video got like 11 million views.
Holy shit, really?
I have it pinned at the top.
Okay.
And then I just stopped posting after that. But I'm like, that's why I know I have even like my little clips that I'm not doing storytelling necessarily, like just clips that of me doing a workout. Can go.
This is a cold edit. This is a cold edit of Sandler draining this bucket. Whoa.
One of my friends helped me edit it. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what to do,
Yo, these are
But
cold. You need to like put some like banger music behind this and like turn this into like memes and stuff. This could be like,
well, I put
I don't
like a
know.
trending audio on there because I know
Oh yeah, let me.
TikTok.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know
I turned.
TikTok is like more with the trending audio, and I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
enough
yeah.
to go viral too. But
That's
also
dope.
like Adam Sandler, and then it was wild because my mom was like, I was watching Jimmy Kimmel, and they started talking about your video on Jimmy
No
Kimmel, and they
way.
showed the video, and I was like, what the heck? So,
I don't know if
um,
this is just my little because I'm in Spain. Like all the comments, there's like 5,000 comments. All my top comments are in Spanish.
really? It
Yeah,
must
Adam
be.
se ve el mejor condición que yo. ¿Qué
Are
la que
you
clases
serious?
de like it's all Spanish. Like this must be like a region thing. Like I can like
Mine is
hundreds of
all.
Spanish comment.
Let me pause the music. Damn, I was trying to look at the video.
No
Mine
worries. Like let me.
mine is all English comments.
I gotta show you this. This is wild. I don't know if this is just because like I'm in that region. I sent it to your IG.
Yeah, it
Check this
definitely
out.
it definitely must be because that's so wild. Mine is all in. Are they like at
That's an
least top liked
the,
comments, or are they just like
no,
random?
they have some likes. They have some likes, but like it's obviously probably a smaller amount than compared to the original. But look, like they're all like
Oh wow,
Spanish.
you're right. Yeah, that's so funny. It's like all Spanish. Yeah, it must be a region thing. That's funny.
That's another thing I was thinking of, like finding a way to eventually translate all the videos, either with a voiceover, like that would be ideal, but if not, with subtitles for other like popular languages, because I think our culture has a lot of similarities with like Latino cultures, some Arab cultures as well, and
Hmm.
like the videos they can definitely be used for that audience as well, because like they're very relatable. So I don't know, it's
Right.
content is a fun game. It's constantly evolving. It's really interesting for me.
Yeah, no, I love it, and I love seeing other people's ideas, and like I said, I love all the Balkan stuff because I didn't have as much of it because in my personal household it was like American, more American, but
Sure.
watching my grandparents, there's so many things that I'm like, oh my god, my grandma used to do that, and so it's
Right.
cool that I got like the Balkan experience without, I guess, living in the countries over there.
The full trauma of actually living in the Balkans during the
Yeah,
worst
but
times.
living in LA, yeah, so it was like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's cool, and that's how I learned the language too. I don't think I see a lot of like mixed. I don't know what you would say, like culture couples where it's like one person speaks Serbian, one person doesn't, and the kids don't
Right.
know it at all. So I think I,
Yeah.
I got
That's
really
tough.
fortunate because I mean I speak better than my brother does. If my brother would actually just focus, he would speak it pretty well too. But the fact that like I was with my grandparents, and then when I'd go to Serbia, my mom would send me every summer, and then my cousins are teaching me how to read Cyrillic and how to, the grammar part I still can't figure out, but and like the ch's
I'm
and
with you.
the
I'm
j's
with you.
and
The
like all
Cyrillic stuff
that.
is crazy. The Cyrillic stuff gets a little crazy for me.
Yeah, I could read Cyrillic. I could do it slow, but
Yeah.
it's like every letter just makes one sound, so it makes it a lot easier, I think, to
Yeah.
figure out how to read stuff. So I love it, and I want to keep learning it, and I want to I talk about Serbia probably too much, but I love it.
Like every Serbian, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
normal thing. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I think it's cool, and I'm glad you reached out. I'm glad we got to do this podcast too, because I was excited about talking a little bit more about Serbia. I feel like I don't get to do that so much on podcasts. I feel like a lot of podcasts ask me the same question. So this is fun. You had a lot of really good questions that were a little different than what I'm normally talking about.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. We'll do it again. I think we'll do it again at some point.
Yeah,
My
whenever.
line is open always if you ever need help with like short form content or even long form YouTube content. I've got plenty of experience with that. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming on. Is there anything that you're promoting, you want to promote that you're currently working on? Obviously, your website, your Instagram.
Yeah, right now just follow me on social
Okay.
media. All my
I'll add
social
those
media
links.
channels, yeah, Cassy Athena photo. I have my clothing line. I got some Serbian words on my clothing
Oh
line,
my God. Yeah, we didn't even talk about yeah, we'll run it back. That's for sure. I totally forgot to. I have the clothing line pulled up. I didn't even ask any questions.
I
Buy
mean,
the
it's up
merch,
to you.
folks.
I
Buy
don't.
the merch. Go buy the merch. What do you want?
Right. Buy got the watermark. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just gonna be posting a lot more. I guess follow my YouTube is the one thing I haven't
Oh,
been
yes.
promoting a lot. Yeah,
Yes.
my YouTube channel. I'm gonna be posting in the next couple weeks very consistently, and behind the scenes of my life is a photographer and being Serbian
Dope.
and going all kinds of places. So hopefully maybe come to Spain and then we could do a podcast in person.
Hell
So.
yeah, why not? Live a
Right?
little.
Why not?
That's why I tell everyone, live a little. Come to Spain. Like, what are you doing? Life's
I've
too
always
short.
wanted to come to Spain, so I did. And also, how far are you from like Barcelona?
2.5 hours by train.
By train. Okay, cool. Because I wanted to
train.
go to some of the games. Go watch some basketball games in Spain.
In Barcelona. Yeah, yeah. Barcelona and Madrid, like two of the best teams in Europe. Definitely worth a watch.
Yeah,
I used to be able to watch them. Valencia was in the Euro League last year, but they're not this year. So I can still watch, obviously, like domestic league, but Euro League's gone. But yeah, there's definitely plenty of basketball here to enjoy.
Right,
This is a big basketball nation, deceptively big. Like
no, that's cool.
Yeah,
I watched them play last year in Serbia. I think it was Madrid that played. I watched, or maybe Barcelona.
Up against
I don't remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
All
love
right.
it. I'm gonna make my way out there eventually.
Sounds good. We'll figure out. Thank you so much for your time. It was a lot of fun. It was a blast. Thanks again.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, and we'll talk soon.